Good morning, Yorkshire Classic Cars Limited, followers, friends and viewers. Welcome to another sunny-ish day in Retford. Couple of things I just want to show you. First is a little bit of a channel update. I won't go on for hours about it. I've now got a line of merchandise. Some of it's quite simple, some of it's quite funky, some of it's got me Capri on. There's one with a stag on. I rather like it. If you'd like to click the links below and take a look. I've ordered some for myself just to check that the quality is right, because obviously it's made elsewhere. So as soon as I've got some, I'll put some on and try it on, and you can have a look. I rather like it. I designed it myself, so obviously I rather like it. But please, by all means, take a look at that. Quick channel change. I'm only going to do a video now, unless I do a random update in the middle. I'm going to try and do a video every Friday. Purely because trying to do videos day in, day out, I've been trying to do them every 2 or 3 days, but it's really difficult, and I want to get better quality in the videos, make sure everything's right, redo it if I need to, more editing, which obviously takes a lot of time outside of running a business. So those are going to I'm going to try and upload one every Friday evening, probably. That being said, I may upload one at the weekend, but we'll see. Some of them I've obviously filmed, like the Austin 1100 ones. I'd obviously filmed those before it went back. Obviously, it's no longer here. So those just needed editing. Please, by all means, let me know what you want to see. If you want to see work being done, someone's commented that they were hoping to see me doing the work. But when I check the feedback and the analytics, people tend to seem to skip those sections. So are you not really interested in seeing me fabricate stuff? Are you interested in fabricating? I know you can't please all the people all the time, but I would like to focus on what people want to see for obvious reasons. It's better for you, it's better for me, and, you know, keeps it all interesting. Some stuff I'll do, whether you like it or not. Things like my Capri, I don't know how many people out there like it. I love it, and I enjoy doing the vlog. A lot of my friends like to see that as well, so that's why I do it. Which draws me back to the Capri. The old Capri gear here. I'm going to just move you down on the old gimbalization. If you have a look at the car, you can see the absolute rat's nest of wiring. I did a tiny bit on this in the week, one evening this week. I was feeling a bit sorry for myself, and I thought, you know what, I'm going to have an hour on my Capri. So I tried to finish off the wiring for the switchgear, which is up here. Obviously, the connectors come off the switches, and I kind of wanted to get those all done, but it meant extending every wire, because normally, obviously, your switches are on the column and everything, but the wires aren't long enough to go up there. So it's quite a slow process. So I thought I'd do a little bit, and then what I realised was I did that. The wiring that I did for the gauges, because the gauges were all wired up, some of it wasn't right. So basically, I'd forgotten to connect the lighting wire to the lighting circuit. So when you turn the side lights on, it wasn't going to come on. But to find that out, I had to strip the harness all back, hence why it's only got little bits of blue tape around at the moment. You won't see any of that. This is harnessed up, ready to be tucked up the back of the dash. But of course, I don't want to harness anything up, things like this. These are all the wires I'm not going to use. However, so the big news of the moment is it works. It's alive, okay? I'm only running it off my battery charger, but if I switch her on, the battery charger is currently connected to the feed wire to the fuse box. So this here is the wire that goes to the back of the alternator to feed all your live circuits. And it is now live, okay? So you can see the charger is charging away. I haven't got a battery in it yet, and I don't have a battery cable made yet, because I want to run that down the center console, center of the car, out of the way of any damage or heat. And of course, the engine isn't in, so I can't do that yet. However, in other news, when you turn the ignition on, and I am running an impromptu earth in the ignition circuit there. Excuse that, I haven't connected any earths yet. So when I turn that on, everything fires up. Okay? I have tested my fuel gauge. Obviously, it's empty because there's no fuel in it. The e-boost lights up, which is probably the most exciting thing to see here. The indicators don't work yet because the outside wiring at the front isn't done, but you can see that move. Okay, You'll see the tack moving when I'm doing that because it's jumping a little bit because it's drawing too much power. So the tack's jumping a little bit. This here is going to be the oil pressure gauge, but I don't want to run that because it's on a capillary and I don't want to damage the capillary. Sorry, water temperature gauge, sorry. The nitrous gauge is staying, but it's a hard-lined one. So if I take you up to the switches, turn on the side lights, see everything lights up. Okay, the monster tack is lit up. The nitrous gauge is lit up. This is lit up, the speedometer. That's a GPS speedo. I bought it off the biiiig because it was dirt cheap. I wanted a Pro Comp one like this, but they are really not cheap. So I thought, well, I think it was like 40 quid, so I'm going to try it. If it works, it's great. If not, I've lost a lot of money. Head beam works. However, the front end of the car isn't wired up yet. So if I go to head beam, you'll see it on the speedometer. Head beam works and the flash circuit works. The indicators come on. Should be able to see the side lights are on. Number plate lights are on. The indicator comes on, but you need enough load on the circuit. So basically, I need the front lights connected up to make those flash because the relays won't flash until they're connected. I did have a couple of wiring issues with that, but nothing major really. I hadn't run the wire for the front of the harness. The harness, as you see, going over here now, this and all that lot. So that lot in the distance goes to the engine and the front of the car. So the horn, the headlights, side lights, dip and indicators. Obviously in the UK, we use it different to in America. So if you've got a Mercury or something like that, they have combined indicators with stop lights and stuff like that, or side lights, and the side lights are on all the time, I think, like they do in Sweden. So I don't know exactly, I'm afraid, sorry. But I know in the UK we have separate side lights. Some cars nowadays, they come on automatically. So if I turn that back off, some of these switches I bought, the LEDs don't always work. So the LEDs aren't lighting up on such as that one. Oh, it's unplugged that one because I was testing it. That's the washers, the intermittent there. So we've got side, head, the head being powered off the side. So if you turn the side lights off, the headlight goes off. Speed 1 on the washers, wipers, speed 2 on the wipers. Those ones don't stay on for some reason. Washers, it's bad switches. These ones don't work. I've unplugged them and plugged them to a different switch and they do work. So fuel pump, fan, nitrous arm, and nitrous arm is at the bottom and nitrous bottle heat on top to heat the bottle. Again, probably won't be using nitrous right off the bat. However, I will be using it eventually, probably. I've got a voltmeter on the USB connector that goes in there. I need to put the housing back in there. I did make a housing for there that goes in and it all fits lovely, but then realised I couldn't get to hang the door when it comes to that, so I've had to take it back out again. It's only one screw and a little bit of tiger seal. So yeah, all that's, yeah, it's doing the business. So, if I turn her off, so just to explain this wiring here, as I say, some of it goes to the engine. You've got your tack feed, your coil feed. I won't need the coil feed probably because that'll come from the ECU, I think. I don't know. So I'm leaving all those connected up for now. One of the live feeds for the starter solenoid, I'm definitely not going to need that. So that's going to end up powering this relay block that I'm just fitting now. So I've just ordered this. This is micro relays. And I just thought, well, it takes less room up. And I needed 5 relays. And most of the relay blocks that come have 4. So I've just bobbed that. It's loose. Hence why it looks a bit wiggly wobbly. So these wires here are everything that feeds a relay. These wires here. Sorry, I'm looking at them and you're not. So I've labelled all these up because you do, honest to God, you walk away for about 3 days and you come back and you're like, where the hell did that wire go? So things like that. That's your NOS feed, nitrous feed. Then you've got first speed on the wipers, second speed on the wipers, and then somewhere down here, that's washer motor. This wire here looks considerably thinner. It doesn't have to carry a lot of current because it's powering it's only turning on a relay. However, this, believe it or not, is significantly higher power rated than this. This is 17 amp thin wall cable, which is a really good quality cable. It's also really expensive, which is probably why these loom kits don't come with it. This is 8 amp, but of course it's only powering a relay. And I didn't label that one. Oh yeah, I did. That's wipers, sorry. So everything here is labelled. So we've got nitrous heat. Somewhere down here we've got the e-boost. So we've got the that goes to the boost solenoid to run the boost. I need to make a hole in the bulkhead up under there to let the wiring through. A little bit reluctant to do that until the engine's back in and the ECU is wired through it too, because I only want to come through one grommet if possible. May need 2, may not. I've got me things like my fuel pump wire here to go down to my fuel pump. That's going to run off the relay. Now that cable is not thick enough for the fuel pump in my opinion. It's a big fuel pump and I may need to run 2, so I'm going to replace that with some, I think it's 8 gauge wire or 6 gauge wire. It's real thick stuff. And I made a faux pas with the fuel gauge, so that needs an earth putting on it, which I will run in tandem with the fuel pump. The washer bottle is obviously in on its bracket. I did pertain to that one before, but didn't show you it. And that just needs piping up through a piece of brake pipe all the way up. Fresh brake pipe for obvious reasons. So yeah, that for me is a massive step in the right direction. I simply powered her up just purely because if you build the whole harness and then find out none of it works, you're in a world of trouble. I've also fitted the oil pressure warning light. I've had that years, next to the tack. And yeah, so I'm super chuffed with all that. I keep turning it on just so you can see it do that. And listen to the e-boost warming up and stuff. The speedo makes a weird jittery sort of thing, and I don't know if that's just rubbish. I've checked the connections, I've had to strip all this back and check the wiring, and it's all absolutely spot on. No idea why it does it. The horn relay doesn't appear to be working. Don't know if I've wired that wrong. I'll have to check it out before I get too much further, but I'm not really losing much sleep over the horn. The indicators attempt to work. As I say, it makes the tack fidget because it's not got the right, it's obviously a low current battery charger. But yeah, really super pleased with that. That's a massive step forward. The wiring still looks a bit of a disaster. I acknowledge that, but most of this just needs tucking away now and it's done. I've fed the wires up over the roof, so they go up through this pillar here, under there, through this cross member here, and come out above there behind the switches and over the top of the roll cage. And although that sounded easy, here is super tight and it was a bit of a struggle. So I've done that. And yeah, that's the brake light switch, but I've yet to work out what I'm going to do with that. Although I know what I'm going to do with it, but I haven't mounted it yet because I'm not ready to put the pedals in. So that will be going here somewhere on the back of the pedal. But I do have a couple of switches over there from original Capri switches. They always work perfectly. So yeah, super pleased with that. For a couple of hours work, it's made a massive difference. The relays haven't arrived yet. I've ordered those, the micro relays for the relay box. I'm having one for the washers, one for each circuit on the wipers, because obviously that draws quite a lot of current. Oh yes, I did in my update this week, I pertained to, please excuse the wiring. This is actually, this is housing cable. It's not even real cable, but I was just doing a very quick, I obviously don't wire like that, but I was just trying to work out how on God's green earth to get this blooming wiper motor to work. Because honest to God, I don't know what Ford were thinking with that. It is the most complicated bit of wiring and relay work in the world. But I have now got it to work on both speeds, and I have got it to park, which is a revelation for me, because last time I connected one of these Ford motors up, it got 1 speed and I had to park on myself. As you can see, the headlights aren't wired in at all. The wires are there, but they'll all be, I'm going to put some P-clips in and tuck those up there, I think. Probably up underneath and round. I don't know, I'll extend them a bit. The horn is over yonder, but we'll be going over there. Also put my reservoirs in case you haven't seen that, on the world's biggest, thickest, strongest 6.5mm 1/4" thick bracket. So yeah, oh yeah, sorry, washers as well. The washers there, these usually go through the bulkhead. I've had to put them up through the scuttle. I've bent the tubes a little bit to angle them, and those will sit under the induction cal. I've measured it up in the induction cal. You can see where it's scratched the paint. So that sits there on each side. So that, there is some neoprene to go in there, but I had to take it out when I spread the black, and I've chipped the paint there. But in all honesty, I'm not that overly concerned. And those are going to be, again, piped up under there. I use this pipe, and I know it's second-hand, and I know it's still got orange paint on, but it's black, and the stuff you buy from the shop is clear, and I wanted black pipe on because it just sort of fades away then. If you ever want to replicate what I've done with the washer tank in the boot, you'll find that it doesn't have enough pressure to come out the wipers at the washers at the front. It might just dribble out a little bit, and you get a little sort of pathetic, feeble spray. So what I'm going to do here is what I did with my old green Capri, my first ever Capri that I sprayed green, which was a facelift 73, and I put the washer tank in the boot just to tidy up the engine bay. And what I did was I pumped it all the way down, and because it was all a bit lackluster and a bit flaccid at the front there, what I did was put an extra pump down in the footwell. It was up behind the dashboard when it had a dashboard, obviously. So I'm going to put that down in the footwell there, and then that will feed off the relay, same as the one at the back, and that will feed the entire system then, and it will force the washer up. I may only need one pump, so I might not do that instantly, because you never just do know, really. So yeah, big step forward. Still need to get the engine back together. May do that this morning. It's actually my birthday, so I might treat myself to mocking up the sump and turbos, so I can work out where the oil return is going to go in the sump, and I can get that blasted inside then. I have to take some blasting in the form of that bonnet over yonder. So I may just bob it in with that and then blast the inside, make sure it's clean. I want to remove any welding spatter or bits of, you know, when the wire's just gone through and broken off a little bit, and then eventually it vibrates off and ends up in your oil pump, which ends catastrophically in my experience. And ask me how I know. So yes, I'll be getting that blasted, give it a super duper fantastic rinse out and a paint, and it'll be bobbed on then the engine's ready to go back in, basically. So yeah, thanks for viewing. If you're just here for the Stags and stuff, and the Spitfires and the Triumphs and the Minis, please say, and I won't do the Capri videos anymore. I can do these and just put them on my Facebook. There's no problem with that one iota. If people are like, just nobody cares, then I accept that, because I know they don't get a huge amount of views, but I also know the algorithms are a bit weird on YouTube, so it could be that. It could be that nobody's interested, but I don't know unless you tell me. So I enjoy doing them, but you know, I haven't really the time if people are interested, if that makes sense. So anywho, thanks for watching. Please check out the merch.